Well, hello, my real estate friends. I hope your day is going fantastic. Melissa English here. So listen, this is a part two. The first video that I did that's sort of similar to this, we went through the buyer side of a transaction, contract to close. So everything that happens to the buyer, contract to close, how you, as the expert, awesome real estate agent that you are, how you can show up for your buyer clients, to kind of pave the way for them piece by piece through each phase of the contract, all the way once they get you get an accepted offer and it's done, you're under contract, you open escrow, all the way to closing. Separate video for that. I'll be sure to link it somewhere here and also in the description. This video is on the seller side. So if you're a listing agent, once your client, your seller, once you have an accepted offer from a buyer, you guys are under contract, what does the seller side look like? And I think it's super important that we provide these updates and to both not only our buyer clients but our seller clients, just so they kind of have like a quick recap as to where we are in the contract phase. Like, what's the next step? What do they need to do? What can I do as an expert agent to get them prepared, to have them ready? So that's what we're going to talk about today in this video. I'm really excited to get in it. If you are excited to hear how I work with my seller clients, contract to close, and how I notify them, give the video a like. I would greatly appreciate that. So this is what we're talking about today. So this is over in my Etsy shop. This is the contract to close seller text updates. Okay. Now, this is what we're going to walk through today. And I'm going to show you what I do and how I notify my clients and all that good stuff, from the moment we go under contract to the moment we go to closing, right? And what they can do to best prepare for closing day. Now, let's be honest. When it comes to sellers, most of the work is done before the house even goes on the market, right? So it's getting the house prepared, getting the photos, getting the marketing done, scheduling the open houses, doing all that stuff. So really, a lot of the weight of the work when a property goes under contract is for the buyer, right? But it's really important, I think, that the sellers know what the buyer's responsibilities are so that they know what they can expect. And we need that buyer to hold and stick together in order to get it all done. So let's pop over here. So if you have purchased this, thank you so much for your order. If you have not, I don't know what you're waiting on. The reviews are phenomenal. It's one of Etsy's best sellers, but a lot of the agents highly recommend. Easy for clients to follow, cute, fun, simple. Clients love it. Easy to use, upload, perfect file, excellent seller, highly recommend, yada yada. Thank you for all those awesome reviews. But this is just a way for you to stand out. And Lord knows we all need to stand out and be unique in this business, especially right now, right? So this is just another little cherry on top that you are providing your clients because you're super awesome and they're going to thank you for it. Trust me on that. Okay. So this is what the download guide looks like. This is the Canva version. You get a PDF version, but when you make the purchase, this is what the download guide looks like. And then you'll just click the buttons to get all access to all of the templates that we're going to walk through today. Okay. So first things first, what it is, these are text. I'm sorry. These are, text templates. Let's go over this one. These are text templates. So essentially you get in here, you add your picture, you do all the things, you save these files as photos to your computer, right? And you can text them to yourself or email them to yourself, save them to your phone. You could do this on your phone if you'd like. But in any case, the point of the matter is what you're going to do is once you have it all formatted how you want it, edited how you want it, you simply text the photo, the image, to your client so that they know what's going on. Now, I know a lot of my buyers and a lot of my seller clients, there's usually two in the whole deal, right? So there might be two sellers, two buyers. So we have like a group text set up. Now, if you want to format this to email your clients, you could definitely do that as well. So whatever works for you. But the stuff, the nuts and bolts of everything, the work is done for you. All right. So this is just sort of like a quick overview of 8 steps to sold, find your agent, price the house right, prepare it for market, on market showing, negotiate and accept a contract. The buyer goes through due diligence, pre-closing and escrow, and closing day. So everything we're talking about in this is after the accepted contract, right? So let's talk about it. So phase 1, the house is under contract. What you're going to do is you're going to give them the recap of the contract for their terms, right? So what is that contract price? What did your client seller agree to pay in closing costs? How much due diligence time does the buyer have? Does the buyer have a house to sell? Appraisal, earnest money amount, and what's the closing date? So essentially, you're just giving them a high level overview of the big pieces in that real estate contract because Lord knows you send them a copy of it. It's 15 pages long. Nobody's reading all that, right? But you're super awesome. And so you're just going to recap it for them, right? So you're going to send them this text message right here, right? That has a quick recap. And then you're going to follow that still in phase 1 with when these items are due. So earnest money, due diligence, projected closing date. So this is what the buyers are up against right now, right? So we're in phase 1, buyer's due diligence. So what's next? What's next for your seller client? The first phase of our agreement is the buyer due diligence. The buyer will have until their due diligence expiration date to order property inspection, secure financing, confirm they're moving forward with their purchase. I will let you know when the earnest money has been paid, right? And we could check that box. I will let you know when inspections are ordered so they can access the home. Inspections usually take about 2 hours to complete. Typically, the inspector, the buyer, and their agent are the only ones who attend. I get this question all the time. Listen, sellers will call and ask me, can I be there during inspection? Well, no, right? This is a courtesy time for the buyer to come in, inspect the home. Of course, there's always, you can always bend that rule, right? But essentially, no. It's kind of just that buyer time to really kind of go in there, make sure they feel good with the home and all of that. Shoot, sometimes the buyers don't even go to inspection. But anyway, it's to set the expectation to your seller client so they understand how long this stuff takes, what it's about, etc. Right? And then that's it. So phase 1, you're sending them 2 texts, recap of the contract terms, what phase we're in. We're in phase 1, buyer's due diligence. What happens during due diligence? They pay their earnest money, they get their inspection, right? That's it. All right. So then fast forward, maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, you're going to be in phase 2, which is the appraisal and the escrow phase. Most attorneys, most lenders, all those other folks don't really kind of start anything on their work until they know we get past inspections, right? Because things can fall apart at inspection or during due diligence, right? So that's kind of that. So once we get past inspections, past due diligence, now they're probably going to start really pulling title and things like that. So phase 1, inspections completed. Cool. We got that check mark. We're done. And you can come in here and edit all these colors and all this stuff. So if you don't like pink, you don't have to have pink, okay? Appraisal and escrow. What does this mean, right? If applicable, begin the repairs that were agreed upon during the inspection phase, right? Really important to remind them of that. Hey, you got to get this stuff done. The next phase of our agreement is the appraisal and title phase. Appraisal, the buyer's lender will order an appraisal of the home to ensure the home value aligns with the buyer's loan request. In most cases, the appraiser will need access to the property. You do not need to be there, as most appraisers have lockbox access. I will let you know when this is scheduled and when we are cleared from appraisal. Title and escrow. The closing attorney will reach out to you to request that the contract information for your lender or contact information for your lender to generate a payoff. They will also begin a title search to ensure we have clear title. That's really where your seller gets involved, right? It is expecting that call from the attorney to get that payoff information. Okay. And then we go to phase 3. All right. And this is probably the most important piece of it when it comes to your business. But essentially what you're going to get is access to the email template. So let me show you what that looks like. This isn't it. Let's see. Well, let me share with you the text first because this is part of it. All right. So appraisal's completed. Cool. Yay. We passed the appraisal. Yay. House praise. Phase 3. Now we're going to get ready for pre-closing. So we've gotten through due diligence, inspections, appraisals completed. Everything's done, right? Congratulations. We are in the final phase of selling your home. At this phase, we wait for the buyer's lender to finalize the loan and the attorney to give us a clear to close for our projected closing date. I have emailed you a pre-closing checklist to help you prepare for the task to complete during this phase. And this is the PDF. It's an 8.5 by 11 of the pre-closing checklist that you can alter it how you wish, but it's all done for you. And you email that over. Email it over to your seller client. Most important piece, I'm not going to go through every single one, but most important, this talks about like, you know, getting the stuff to the attorney, completing change of address forms, call the utility companies. It's all those little like fine little details, right? Most important though, I value your opinion and it depends on referrals and reviews. Please leave a review of my services to help others have a better understanding of what it is like to work with me. Thank you in advance. You want to ask for the review before you close. Why? Because these folks are moving. They're super busy. The second they leave that closing office, they've got keys in their hands. They're busy, right? They got to go pack. They got to move. They got stuff going on. It's just 100 million things. Now is the best time at this point to ask for that review. And all you're going to do is just hyperlink whatever website you let them leave a review at. So if you're partnered with Zillow or wherever, your main website, wherever, you're going to hyperlink your review link right there. And that's it. And then after you hyperlink your review link, delete this. You know what I'm saying? Like delete that out because you don't want that on your PDF. You know what I mean? And then you're just saving it as a PDF and sending it right over. This is the same deal here, in which this one's already been deleted. But in any case, that's what that looks like. All right. So that's it. Now we're just waiting for clear close. All right. Closing day, final phase, access the email template. Let's look at the text first. What next? Congratulations. We have a clear to close. Woohoo. That's the best words ever, isn't it? And so you're going to recap buyer final walkthrough. When is that scheduled? What's our closing day? Where is the closing address? What did the seller need to bring? Right? I have emailed you a closing date overview of what to expect in closing and important reminders following closing. And that is this template right here that you will get. And it's essentially just what they can expect. What's the seller's responsibility, the attorney's responsibility, what they need. Another recap of what they need to bring. Important piece on this is after closing, contact the homeowner's insurance company, provide them with a mailing address to receive a check back for prepaid insurance. This is huge. That check right there is probably worth, I don't know, sometimes $2,000-$3,000. Okay. And it's important they have an address on file of where to mail that check to, right? That's a chunk of change for your seller. Same with your mortgage lender, right? You most likely are going to have some kind of an escrow refund for the rest of the year. Again, big chunk of change right there. I mean, I've seen checks from escrow refunds as much as $15,000. I mean, that's a big chunk of money. They need to contact the mortgage lender and the homeowner's insurance company to make sure that those two guys have addresses on file of where they're going to be moving to, right? All right, cool. So that's that. Now, let me go back over here. And then that's pretty much it. So you also, with this little bundle deal, you're going to get these bonus templates. These are all 8.5 by 11. So you come in here, edit it, save it as a PDF, attach it to an email. It's got trusted vendors on here, utility companies, template. So that's all there for you and as a bonus, but it's a super cool little thing. Folks seem to really love it. And so I will leave the link. It's $7. I'll leave the link to this as well as the buyer side below so that you have that. Here's the buyer one. Just so you can see, it's the same kind of color scheme. It's just going to go through the steps for your buyer. versus the seller. So depending on which one you work with, most realtors buy both of them, right? Because they might be dual agents and work both sides. So in any case, all the heavy lifting's done for you. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was pretty important to kind of know, a way that you can show up for your clients and kind of keep yourself organized, but also keeping them in the loop as to where we are. It's really important because it's funny how our clients don't necessarily really hear from us too much on the back end once we're under contract, right? And, we'll call them here and there and that kind of thing. But it's important for them to know why, because now our job as agents technically are somewhat done, but we're just helping navigate the rest of the attorneys and the lenders and the other side. So in any case, if you found this video helpful, I would super appreciate the showing the love of the video. If you're not a subscriber, please consider. We'd love to have you over here. And yeah, so nothing left for us to do but get out there and let's get it. And I'll see you on the next video. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.